I'm Rich Baby Daddy, and I'm going to talk about something that will probably offend weak men. God doesn't want you to be nice. God wants you to be dangerous. He wants you to be bad, but not evil, because your capacity to do good is directly connected to your capacity to do evil. Carl Jung said this: "A tree cannot reach heaven unless its roots grow down to hell." Meaning, if you're pretending you don't have darkness in you, you're not spiritual, you're not pure, you're fragile. And that's a weakness, because fragile men don't become good men. They become accidental villains. Now hear me out, bro. There are two types of men in the world. Type 1, the guys who show their darkness up front. You can see it, you can feel it, rough around the edges, no masks, no pretending. And honestly, you can usually trust a man like that, because he's not hiding shit. Type 2, the men who present their light first. I'm such a good guy, I would never do that. Look at me, I'm righteous. And those are the ones you need to watch out for. Because when a man advertises his goodness too loudly, it's usually covering something he's refusing to face, or has something deeply to hide: his anger, his envy, his lust, his hunger for control, his need to dominate, his need for validation. And when that stuff stays hidden, it doesn't disappear. It goes underground. And what goes underground starts to pull the strings. Here's the danger: if you're all darkness, you become destructive. No conscience, no restraint. You hurt everything you touch. But if you're trying to be all light, all purity, all "I'm a good person," and you refuse to acknowledge your shadow, you become evil by accident. And to me, that's worse. Because at least the dark man knows what he is. But the good man who's unconscious, he'll ruin lives with a smile and call it love. That's why they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because some men keep trying to do the right thing, but their blind spots sabotage everything. This is why shadow work matters. This is why Carl Jung matters. Because Jung wasn't teaching people how to be good. He was teaching them how to become whole. And a whole man is terrifying. In a righteous way, a whole man can say, "I know what I'm capable of, and I choose discipline anyway." I like to say it like this: I'd rather keep my demons on a leash than let my demons keep me on a leash. Because if you're not paying attention to where you're already selfish, already manipulative, already angry, already addicted, then darkness doesn't need to attack you. It can just steer you, control you, quietly, through your triggers, through your ego, through your cravings, through your pride. But when you face it, when you name it, when you integrate it, it loses its possession power. It becomes fuel instead of poison. That is what God wants. Now, this begs the question: who or what is God? Because a lot of men were raised on a version of God that feels like a surveillance camera. Don't fuck up. Don't slip. Don't think wrong. Don't want wrong. Don't fail the checklist. And if you do, guilt, shame, fear, panic, spiritual anxiety, you'll be punished. But here's what I've learned. God doesn't teach you through panic. God teaches you through clarity. And for me, this is my controversial take. God is not just out there. God is also in here. God is your highest self, your superconscious, the part of you that can see further than your emotions, the part of you that can tell the truth even when your ego is begging you to lie, the part of you that hands you the idea, the insight, the solution, the warning, the creative download, that voice, the voice of reason, the voice that says, "Don't go back, don't text her, don't chase that dopamine, get up, handle your business, be the man your future respects." And I'll take it even deeper. Jung believed there's a difference between the little ego self and the self. Capital S. The self is the totality of you, conscious and unconscious, light and shadow. He called the journey toward that wholeness individuation, not becoming a better mask, becoming a real man, a unified man. A man who doesn't split himself into "this part of me is holy" and "this part of me is cursed," because that split creates internal civil war. And men living in inner war are easy to control. By women, by friends, by society, and by addiction, by impulses, by fear. So for me, spiritual awakening wasn't angels and choirs and floating lights. Spiritual awakening was brutal. It was the moment I realized, I'm not as innocent as I sell. I've got darkness in me too. And instead of hiding it, I faced it. I accepted it. And I integrated it. Not to become evil, but to become conscious. Because a man who doesn't know his own shadow is a dangerous man to himself. And this is where semen retention made it louder for me. Because retention doesn't magically make you a saint. It amplifies. It turns the volume up on whatever you already are. If you're disciplined, it sharpens you. If you're unstable, it exposes you. If you've been running from your shadow, retention will drag it into the room like, all right, we're doing this now. Your lust, your rage, your insecurity, your addiction, it all rises, and you have two choices. Suppress it and pretend you're holy, or transmute it and become whole. This is where religion, especially the fear-based version, can fuck men up, because it trains you to believe darkness is the enemy, desire is evil, anger is evil, ambition is evil, power is evil. So you spend your whole life trying to delete parts of yourself. But you can't delete the shadow, you can only push it into the basement. And whatever you push into the basement eventually comes upstairs with a weapon. And let me be real, guilt, shame, fear, those emotions don't heal you. They usually keep you stuck, because you can't put out a fire while pouring gasoline on it. If you did something wrong, own it, correct it, learn. But spiraling in shame doesn't make you holy. That's why some men keep repeating patterns. They do something they label wrong, then panic, then beg, then promise, then relapse, then panic again, and the whole cycle is fueled by the same thing, trying too hard to be good while refusing to understand the darker forces inside. But what happens when you can face your own darkness and stay calm? That's when darkness stops destroying you and starts serving you. That's transmutation. That's alchemy. That's what men mean when they say, pressure makes diamonds. And listen, bro, darkness and light aren't two separate worlds. They're two poles of the same human being, equal in value, opposite in degree. No matter how good you try to be, there's still a shadow. No matter how bad you are, there's still light. So the real move isn't to obsess over, am I good? Am I bad? The real move is to ask, what part of me is unconscious and enslaving me? That's why true spirituality is rebellion. It's choosing authenticity over approval, because men are alive. We want power, we want respect, we want sex, we want achievement. And if you pretend you don't become pure, you become fake. And once you become undeniably yourself, you'll make other men uncomfortable because you're reminding them of what they're hiding, but who cares? Everyone's going to be gone in the long run. Their opinions don't get buried with you. Your choices do. Be the man who doesn't need to pretend he's perfect, because he's too busy becoming whole. That's real masculine spirituality. Don't be harmless. Being dangerous with a code. And the more you integrate, the clearer that God voice gets. Because when you stop judging yourself into chaos, you can finally hear guidance. This is Rich Baby Daddy Build Your Legacy. Fuck excuses.